What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Social Distortion. And we're returning to the 1945 EP from 1981. Once again, big shout out to Paulie. And we're going to listen to the title track. And after that, there'll be one more tune, which is apparently called Playpen. And yes, the track 1945 with an image like that on the cover of a nuclear mushroom cloud. I wonder whether the tune might be about the violent and destructive tendencies of humanity, especially in large groups, which over the last couple millennia, and perhaps before that as well, has been largely centered around the actions of kingdoms and, in modern times, nation-states, with common folks often suffering the worst pain, death, and atrocities because of the actions of much smaller concentrations of power at the top of those societies. Perhaps it's just maybe about human nature and our violent tendencies more generally. I still don't have a large-scale understanding or perception about Social Distortion's lyrics, but based on what I heard on Mommy's Little Monsters and at least a couple tracks in the future down the road, I wouldn't be surprised if it is making such a critique. Nevertheless, I'll pick up what I can on a first listen. I did notice when I took this record out that it was produced, not only recorded in Fullerton in 1981, but that it was produced by Social Distortion along with someone named Chaz Ramirez, so I'm not sure if he was like a studio engineer or just a punk rock producer more generally, but here we go, Social Distortion, 1945, from the EP of the same name, 1981. That's a tune. So yes, it feels maybe more hyper-specific, particularly about the dropping of the atom bomb over Hiroshima in 1945 and that particular event, not necessarily making a claim about humans and violent propensities more generally, although perhaps that can be extrapolated from what's there. But yes, it is something that is perhaps a stain on human history and maybe American history in particular, which is to say I try not to get into too much or too many, I guess, depending on how you view the word politics in a plural sense. But yes, on the channel, simply because, I'm here to talk about music, and of course when you talk about punk rock, you talk about lyrics, and there are political points to be made. But yeah, by and large, I try to avoid deep and extensive conversations in that regard. But as a historian, I do feel obligated to mention that both the bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki were dropped on largely civilian populations, and whatever you think about the Japanese government's plans for their continued warfaring up until the dropping of those bombs, it's fair to say that those civilian populations did not deserve to have radiation and death rained upon them. So, yeah, it feels like maybe there's a point like that being made here, because I did hear a reference to the radiation specifically, and the track begins with air raid sirens, and it's talking about the atom bomb itself, a bomb that up until that point was unmatched in its destructive potential, which is a scary thing because in recent decades and now centuries, there are bombs that have even more nuclear destructive capacities that are in multiple countries' arsenals. But yeah, again, it feels like it's making a particular point about that historical episode, though perhaps it can be extrapolated more greatly. In any case, I enjoy the rockin' sounds. I like that false ending, and then it rolls back in for some more guitar solo. In fact, I think the guitar work on this one was the real standout element. But again, I love their very similar to early Bad Religion sound, which again, contemporaries, this is 81. It's like among the earliest phase of Bad Religion's history. They started in 1980, and I really think there is a similarity of sound. It just has that independent, almost like garage recorded sound, but it gives it an edgy character, so it really fits with the, as I determine, or as I suspect, the lyrical rebellion and dissident sort of nature of the lyrics. So in any case, once again, big shout out to Paulie. As I said, Playpen is the remaining tune on the EP. We'll come back and do that one soon. Let me know what you think of this, and I will see you then. Peace.